far as Monday, it was announced that county testing, and I already decided how we were going to be closed to the public because I thought it was safe to keep my guys involved. So the first thing I want to say is that the old law that says that beer and wine even shouldn't be shipped in the state of Texas because it contains ethanol, which is considered a hazardous substance, needs to be done with. There needs to be a limit on that in terms of percentages, because I can order food grade ethanol and it comes UPS all day long. No special whatevers. And when you talk about beer, wine, even all the way up to spirits might be, you could actually blow something up. Wine and beer, you just have a mess. That's all you have. There's nothing dangerous that could come from it unless that driver gets into that package and starts slamming them, and you have a lot more problems at that point. And so let's just talk about that. That's the baseline for all this, and that's just ridiculous. However, I think it's smart to kind of push for it. Now is obviously a time to do that. I think that customers would really enjoy that because some people really like the idea of joining a club where they get first dibs on special releases, and it would allow a brewery to do special crazy stuff knowing they have customers. Even if it's a small batch, and then just get it to them instead of having them have to come to the brewery. Because we had somebody from Waco just hit us up, said, hey, we'd really like to carry Hyperlight. Who's your distributor out here? We're not in Waco. So I could be like, hey, I'll ship it to you, or something, if that's the case. Or if they had customers there asking for it, they could order it and I could ship it to them because we're not ready to do full-scale distribution there. So I think it would answer some of those questions that would do that. Do I think it would hurt my customers? I do not think so. The vast majority of people, I believe, do a lot of their buying when they're buying other things. For instance, if you're in the store buying groceries and you're going to cook out that night, you're stopping by the beer aisle to pick up a case of beer because you may have some people coming over, or you just like drinking beer while you grill. You didn't go, well, I'm going to order that online and it's going to be here in 2 days. And then what I'll do is I'll go pick up my ribs on Saturday and I'll get those on the pit Saturday night to eat them Sunday at noon, and my beer will be there. No, that's not what's going to happen. There's going to be there's a great selection. They keep it, as long as it's a good store that's got a fresh selection of a lot of things they can choose from, and it's good, fresh beer, they're going to pick it up there by and large. This just allows maybe specialty products and things like that we don't want to send to market to get to customers more directly. So I think it really would make sense. We're behind. Everybody knows that Texas alcohol laws are behind considerably. Other states do it, and their grocery stores aren't having problems. Their liquor stores aren't having problems. I don't see it impacting that much. I think the people who would be most apt to see an impact of that would be a liquor store. We've seen that the beer market has shifted from the massive sales, say like Specs, Total Wine. A lot of that's really been sucked out by HEB. HEB is kind of the king in beer right now. And why? Because they have well-organized places, they have people there to help you, and they keep everything looking to where you can actually come up and buy it. Whereas the other two have their own tactics on it, but I think that they would be the ones to get sucked away the most because people are really there. What the numbers show is they're buying beer, they're buying wine and spirits primarily, and they may pick up some beer. And so I think that would be the case where they're like, well, I need to go get a couple handles of this, but I've already got my beer on order, so it's not a big deal. And I think that's the only potential place it would. But again, it's the same thing as in a grocery store. They might be there and be like, hell, I'm going to grab a case of this. Why not? I'm here. It's right there. I'll just take it home. I don't have to wait for it. And so, counter to big box stores like Best Buy, alcohol is a little bit different. You want to go in. You want to see it. You might want to talk to a beer and wine steward. Going to Best Buy now, if you talk to one of those nerds, they're terrible. You can learn more from going online and reading the user comments. Beer and wine's a little bit different because you have people tasting it and telling you why it's different and things like that. They learn about the product. If they're good stores, which Specs, Total Wine, HEB, Kroger to a certain degree, you have one of those people you can talk to and actually learn something from and make an educated decision. So that's my take on it.
Ultimately, the consumer should be able to get beer how they want. The way it's structured now, unlike the wine industry, we get inquiries all of the time from out of state. Hey, can you ship us beer? Can you ship us beer? I think at some point we need to get there. But our local distributors are pivotal in our business. So there are platforms out there like Hops Drop that are able to get beer to customers if they want it. I don't think that law is going to change behavior in consumers. most people are going to get their beer at the grocery stores because they got to go there. If you have special beers like releases they may not have, like Jester King has, Parish, name a few breweries. That'd be nice to ship it directly to someone. And I don't think that's going to hurt grocery stores one bit, because it's a niche market that's going to be ordering beers to be shipped to their house. It's a very small market. So I'd like to see some laws changed across the board in Texas.
Short term, it seems like the logical solution given the social distancing and kind of the general psyche of just consumerism right now. Everybody, that comes in, good friend or a new friend or just somebody coming by, you take a step forward and they take a step back. We're all living in this distance, right? And so when you look at beer to go or shipping or any other kind of service that creates a distribution channel for you, you'd be foolish not to try them out, not to give them a whirl. Whether or not they work is a whole other thing. You see a lot of the wine clubs, they work pretty well. They're pretty successful. There's somebody who's out there sourcing those wines and really working at it, and they know their industry. I would, at this point, I'm of the opinion that you try everything until it doesn't work for you, and then you figure out what works, and you just do a really damn good job at what works, and then you help everybody else figure out what they're working on and how to do a really good job at that. And then as an industry-wide segment, we come back to full steam, and we get back to things as usual. But it's just going to take time. Not every brewery is built for the same purpose, right? Not every brewery is built for distribution. Not every brewery is built for taproom sales. But you got to find what you are built for and how you can penetrate the marketplace. And I really think that in times like this, just like the federal government, you got to pull down all the restrictions to keep the free flow of the economy moving. And as time goes on, you really figure out what you've been missing out on, and then you say, we're going to stick with this, or we're going to change this, or we're going to regulate this a little bit differently. But it creates it's kind of the lubricant to the marketplace when you take restrictions away, and that really helps everybody figure out who they can be in the marketplace and how they grow successfully going forward.
It's an incredibly complicated and loaded question, kind of, because there's a lot of nuance to, I would say, Texas beer laws are inherently kind of behind the time, and there's a lot of stuff they should catch up on. As far as deliveries goes, I think the way the world is going, in terms of if you think about Uber Eats and DoorDash, and there's a lot of people that are kind of going out. There's a whole economy based upon this self-delivery, self-service, and it would I would think it would only benefit everyone involved to kind of get on board with it than halt it. Everything is kind of going this direction, right? It's a weird, things are splitting to, I think of Uber and Lyft, and then you can think of Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub, and having those avenues out there is kind of, that is where we're going if we aren't already there. So to have those options only makes sense. But there's a lot of stuff I see that I feel like we're a little behind the times. There's, as business forward and a conservative state as we are, there are some things to me that seem a little out of lock and step with that mentality. It's a slight double-edged sword, right? So I have friends that are going to Mexican restaurants and buying margaritas to go, and they love it. I'm one of them. The ability to, sometimes I don't want that experience. I just want to have that experience at home where it's I want to have 2 or 3 margaritas, but I don't want to have them there and drive. I want to have a good time-ish, at home, safe, sound. And I know there's probably some restaurants out there that are whoa, we want people to stay here, so all the money's here. We control this environment. That's where we feel we probably get the most bang for our buck. but the margins are better in a restaurant, right? But there is certainly something nice and convenient about having that experience at home. I mean, what do we do for, like, people don't go to the movie theaters anymore, right? Netflix, Amazon Prime, like, more and more things are moving towards where you're almost at home. Subdivisions have clubhouses with, like, full-on centers. Apartment complexes, build these full-on entertainment, all these amenities. Like, it's like we are more and more in a society that is almost about being at home. And if you go out, it's to have, like, an experience. That's why, like, when you're going to St. Arnold or Spindletap or no label, it's all about that experience we're having here. This Instagrammable kind of sharing experience. But you shouldn't. Some people will always want that, and some people will prefer to be at home. So why not have both options available?
Look, I think any time that a business can directly relate to a consumer, it's a good thing, without a doubt, as long as it's done in a responsible way. Pushing for direct sales to consumers, I think, is a natural and healthy thing. Again, provided it's done in the right way. What will it do for grocery stores? Yeah, I think it will have an impact there, without a doubt, provided the economic parameters are in play. So that comes down to, as long as the consumer and the business are getting value for that proposition, then absolutely, I think that's the right way to do it. It's all about value, and value in the forms of whether it's economics, profit, perceived value in terms of just direct access and communication with business. Convenience is a huge value proposition for our current generations. So I think all of that is a real positive. What it will have impact on our business? I think potentially our grocery sales, for the modest amount that they are for our business, will be impacted to an extent, probably not to the extent of some of the other players, other breweries in the industry. But I would welcome the opportunity to have a direct engagement with our customer, not only here in the tap room, but also in the comfort of their own home and being able to home deliver. What a fantastic proposition. What we're seeing, certainly in these times, to-go laws came through recently, did not impact us under our specific license. We had a to-go license from day dot. But the to-go laws opened that up to other breweries, which I think was fantastic. And what we've seen during these crazy times is that the consumer, and based on the other question, they've come, rather than do their grocery shopping, they've come to the brewery. For them, number one, it probably gets them out of the house. Number two, a direct engagement with the business. And that's an important thing that we've found, and I'm sure other breweries have as well in this industry, is that the consumer is really, really interested in what we do, why we do it, and not just the taste of the product. I mean, that's obviously essential, but there's a story around it. Now, for us to be able to engage them directly, both in the tap room and to their home, it's a powerful thing. And again, as I said, we are seeing the behaviours of people wanting to come and buy their products directly from us versus a third-party retailer. We've seen a significant increase in that. So having some type of direct engagement with a consumer at their place of residence, I think is only a positive thing, and I think it'll be great for the industry.
It's hard to say where we go from here, but as a community, if we all stick together, we all keep our heads up and think clearly, we'll all get through this. Time will pass, and we all will heal from this in one form or another. We're here at the brewery for you, however we can help you. We've got beer to go to help you get through those times. And if you need a little sanitizer, we could possibly help you out with that. Breweries have plenty of that laying around. So look for the silver lining in all that's come to us, and you will get through this. God bless.